Right on, my handsomes, we're back here again for another tutorial video. Again, we're back in SimHub and we're going to do Dash Studio edit again. We're going to do one of the most useful edits this time, which is a delta timer. Delta timer's really useful for finding out exactly where you are on the track against your previous or personal best lap time of the session. Most race drivers use it, and it's helpful to keep consistency and to find out where you can and cannot go faster. So we'll start with being in SimHub. SimHub's open and we want to select Dash Studio. We're going to create a new dashboard, or you can add it to a previous dashboard, but we will create a new dashboard, and that dashboard is Assetto, and it will probably tell me that I have one already existing. So we'll scroll down to that dashboard and it's a blank screen. So if you watched my first tutorial, you'll be familiar with where we are. This time we're going to do a couple of different things. It's a little more complicated than the previous timer screens, and we're going to use this time a grid set to 8, and we're going to use linear gauge. So linear gauge, again, in your Windows menu, select Toolbox F1, and we want linear gauge. We're going to select linear gauge. This is going to be the left-hand side, or the negative delta, and we will name it because we need to bring up the properties. Again, Windows Control Properties F4. For the background color, we are going to have transparent. For the moment, the position of it isn't really important. The size of it, you can make it to whatever size you wish, to be honest, depending on where on your dashboard or your display panel you're going to have it. Border style is going to be very similar to the time counters, so we're going to go for all borders 10. We will start it in the same way, and the radius will make 20, so that if you are using it with the same timers that you made in the last video, this will tally up. Then we're going to adjust and adopt different positions on the border. So we want the right hand border to be 0, the right hand radius top to be 0, and the bottom radius to be 0. That gives us a blank edge. We're going to skip effects, the linear gauge. We're going to set the gauge color to red. We are going to set to top right, or top or right. We are going to set the gauge orientation to horizontal. Now this maximum point we are going to set to 3. We want it small, because you're not going to want much more than 3 seconds variation when you're trying to do a delta. If you've got 3 seconds variation, you've got quite a lot of catching up to do. And the minimum value is going to be 0. The steps are going to be 0, and the value is going to be 1.2. This is just a nominal value to determine the bar on the gauge to begin with. We're then in the FX button. We are going to click the FX button and we're going to insert a computed value. So by going in and inserting property, and in this filter you are going to want to type best and you are going to want to find one that says session best. I believe it's right at the bottom. Session best live delta seconds is what you want. So this one right there. Click OK and click, it'll plant it right there in the middle. Click OK. This alternate gauge color doesn't really matter, and the auto size doesn't really matter either. So right now we've got the left hand, or the negative side of the delta, copied over, or built in. We will create the second side of the delta by quite simply copying and clicking in the screen hierarchy page, Control V to paste it in, and it gives us this part here. What we will do is, so that we can differentiate between the two, we can go into the top and change that name to delta neg. And see, that's now changed to delta neg. So we know which one we're on. So in linear gauge 2, we'll change that to delta pos. So we know that that's the delta positive. Basically, what's happened is it's overlaid on top, and we are going to flip it around. So by changing the border controls, we're going to change the left hand border to 0, the right hand border to 10, the left radius to 0, the right radius to 20, the bottom right radius we're going to put up to 20, and the bottom left we are going to, 0, where have I gone? Bottom right, radius top left, top right, bottom left, top left, top right, we want on 0. No, we don't. Top right, top left we want. Get it right. Bottom left. I'll get it in a minute. Right. So then we're going to snap that to there. We can then move down. Effects we can get rid of. We're going to change the color I'm going to select the nice, bright, vibrant green, and we're going to change the alignment to left or bottom. This figure we're going to change to -3, and this value we will change to -1.2. That figure can be any figure you like. It is a nominal figure, just so you can it will display the gauge on the screen. So if we go to test dashboard, we've got a blank screen because I've got no vehicle running. So you'll have to trust me, it does work. The next step we're going to do is we are going to create a text box. So we can hide that one. We're going to create a text box, and we're going to stick that text box right in the middle. So we will pull up the control properties again. We'll give it a transparent color, no border. So essentially we can ignore general. Blink effects we can ignore. The alignment needs to be left and to the top. The font we can change to whatever font we like. We'll use the same font that was used in the last video, which is LCD Mono. And we will realign the text box. And we will put, where it says text, 1.2 to match what was initially inserted into the timer. What we can do then is change the font size. We can remove the grid. Don't need the grid right now. And we can then change the font weight to bold. And put into the text a FX box the computed value, the same computed value that we put in the last one. So we want session best live delta seconds, which is the very bottom one, and click OK. Now in this box where it says result format, you need to put in 0.00. So that will be how the delta will be displayed. It's a time clock, so you've got the hours, minutes, hours, minutes, seconds, tenths of minutes. We want it displayed as a time, and the raw format and the formatted result is shown below. That is how it will be displayed. So if we test dashboard, that is how the timer will be displayed. And depending on whether you're into negative or positive figures, the green bar will extend to the right or the red bar will extend to the left. The next thing we're going to do is give it a label. So what we'll do actually is we will change that to delta time, and we're going to create another text box. One more text box. We're going to bring that over the top, and we're going to reduce it so that it misses the numbers text box, in which case we might need to enlarge let's undo that. We will go to changing the actual, try and keep the layers together. So if we take the delta pos and put it in layer, delta neg, put that in layer, click on the layer box, they should, oh, if we lock them, no, why aren't you locked? Let's drop out of that package, right? No, it's still not locked. We need to click the layer box. Drop that one in there. Move that down a little. And how it's displayed on the right hand side will be how your actual layers are formatted. So we'll come to the text box again. There was a bit of a detour there, I must apologise. We will enlarge, I don't want that one, that one. We want the properties for that text box. We will change it manually and change the text from text to delta. And increase the width of that box ever so slightly. Move it across ever so slightly, and we're going to change the background color to black. Click, enter, and it should if we've done it right, drop that into the top of the layer box. If we extend the width of that box and put the vertical alignment or the horizontal alignment to center, and then click test dashboard, there is your delta. That is how you do your delta box. Always on top. See if I can move it to where you can see it. So if I stop, that time should count down to negative. As soon as I'm ahead of myself, there we go. It shifts into the 0, into the red. So as you can see, simple delta counter, and it works quite nicely. So on track to tell you where you're fastest. So as you're ahead of time or behind time at that particular point of the track against your best lap of the session. So there we go. Now it's going to start to punch right up as we cross the lap, the start a new lap. Okay, that is pretty much how you do it. So a couple of little things just to be aware of, which is making your layers sit in the right order. So you need the text for the delta at the top. You need your delta time to set in the middle. And then the delta negative and positives, they don't matter what order they're in because they're sat side by side. There's no overlay at all. And your layer box, again, chain linked. So once you've chain linked it, you should theoretically be able to move it. And it's all good. Once you've set it, you can position it to wherever you want on your dashboard. I like mine to be right on top. And again, it's nice and easy. Add that to all your other timers and we're all good. So I'm glad it worked, and I hope you've learned a little bit, and I hope you've gotten to the bottom of how to make it do what you want it to do. So thanks for watching. This is Jam First. Cheers and gone. Right on. See you again.